Carly, brand new Fox News polling showing Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani leading the New York City mayoral race by a whopping 18 points among registered voters, with former governor and independent candidate Andrew Cuomo trailing way behind. Republican political strategist Katie Zachariah joins me now. Katie, great to have you here. Let's go into some, let's call them sound bites that I'm sure the socialist doesn't like out there, but they exist. In 2020, Mamdani said this about the NYPD on X, quote, "We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to hashtag defund the NYPD." That's pretty clear. But now, Katie, in a new interview with the New York Times, he was asked, quote, "If those comments are wrong, you don't believe them, should you apologize to the officers of the NYPD?" To which Mamdani responded, "Yes, but he still has not offered an apology." Why doesn't he just do it? Why doesn't he just come out and say, "I was wrong, I apologize," Katie?
Well, he's not only not apologized, he said, "I'm going to have to start the Department of Community Safety and spend $1 billion to send social workers instead of NYPD officers to crime so they can negotiate with these, criminals." So he's obviously not in support of the NYPD. He's called them names, and he wants to essentially fund an entire organization against the NYPD. This guy is going to make crime a terrible problem, as if it's not already in New York.
Yeah, somebody who lives and works in New York City, I got to admit, I don't want to see a guy who looks like me if there's a crime. Like, I want to see a guy who's big, who looks like he's, a big-time NYPD officer. I don't want to see somebody who looks like they went to an Ivy League school social working this situation. Who wants that? Nobody.
And it's not going to be effective. What, you're going to go negotiate with someone while they have a knife and they're trying to stab someone on a subway? NYPD is here for a reason. And he needs to issue an apology and say, "I'm going to bolster my support. I'm going to get rid of the Department of Community Safety," which we all know won't work, and really come out. But honestly, I would like to see him go down in the polls, have Adams drop out, Sliwa and see Cuomo rise up to the top, because I think he's the only one who can beat Mamdani.
You can want that, but that's not happening. We are like a few weeks now outside of the election. It's going to be fascinating to watch. From local politics now to more national stuff. Democrat leader Chuck Schumer losing support from those within his own party. As Politico reports, his leadership is seen as toxic among Democratic Senate candidates. Quote, Politico surveyed major Democratic candidates across open Senate races and seats the party's aiming to flip. Of the 19 who responded, none endorsed Schumer for leader. 11 said they would not support him, and 8 were non-committal. What does that tell you, Katie?
Wow. The Democrat Party under Schumer, especially in the Senate, but generally they're losing funding. They're losing new voters. They don't have any policies. So they have completely, disintegrated. And President Trump, conversely, has united the entire Republican Party. And the Democrats are swirling around with TDS, trying to figure out where their feet are. And they can't. And they're not going to come behind Chuck Schumer. He's clearly not working for the Democrat Senate.
And neither was Kamala Harris. I mean, some Democrats very frustrated with her about her new media blitz. A campaign advisor telling Politico, quote, "At a time when people are looking for a vision and leadership, it's pretty crazy she chose to write a gossip book that prioritizes the pettiness of her politics. It's embarrassing for her and for all Democrats." Combine these two, Zachariah. Well, how do the Republicans capitalize on this?
The Republicans are just continue with the momentum they have. Kamala said that it was the closest election. This was not the closest election we had. He won all 7 swing states, the House, the Senate. Obama is over there in Spielberg's yacht, sitting there alone with a drink, because he told the Democrats Kamala cannot beat Donald Trump. And so Donald Trump and the Republicans, President Trump, continue with the momentum they have. And the Democrats are going to have to start finding something else other than TDS to go on their party and, be able to win some elections. But I think we win the 2026 midterms.
You heard it here first. Mark the tape. 5:48 on September 25th. Zachariah. Katie says Republicans are going to win it. Thanks so much, Katie, for coming in. Have a safe flight back. Go see those kids.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.